This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Farming Simulator 22 Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Kandelin. But before that, this video is brought to you by GoldenEye 48 and Raznak. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Kandelin map can be found at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu. And as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for PC players only. Now this is a 4X map, and that is why it's going to be available for PC players. Plus, there are several required mods that are not listed on the download page that again are PC specific. Let's read some of the description. Welcome to Kandelin. Here with us in the Mecklenburg region of an area for which I cannot pronounce. Every morning when the sun casts its first light over the vast fields shrouded in mist, the small community of Süderholz comes to life. Become part of this community and take up the challenge. Start where others stop. Farming around Kandelin offers diverse and challenging opportunities from small farmers to large-scale operations with agricultural areas up to 140 hectares. So fields up to 140 hectares in size. Discover the villages and surrounding area as part of the contracting company, or expand your business and enjoy the simple farmer's life on an idyllic sheep farm. You decide where the journey takes you. The map is based on the municipality of Süderholz and was created over years of teamwork and offers, among other things, 48 viable fields and 9 meadows, 8 playable farms, 4 with BGAs, various production and sell outlets, 4 forests, 3 solar parks, pre-placed wind turbines which can be purchased and sold. Platinum DLC is required for the full fun of the game. Now, in addition to that, I mentioned there are a lot of required mods. If you happen to want to load this map up in multiplayer, be sure to pay attention to when I start talking about the required mods. If you look at the download page, it doesn't look like there are any mods required until you start to load the map, and then suddenly it's boom, all these mods are required. You want me to download them? Now, in multiplayer, the server is not going to do that for you. It's not going to prompt you and say, hey, here's a list of mods I need in order to start this map. It's just going to tell you not all the mods are available, and it's just going to fail out. So I really, really wish that the download page would get updated to list all of those mods specifically, because for the people that want to play this map in multiplayer, and I think once you see this map, you're going to agree this is an ideal multiplayer map, then you're going to need to know that list of required mods. After the buying farm, you should save the game and restart. Only then will additional functions become available. To remove placed fences on the various farms, join Farm ID 1. Now that note is specific to multiplayer, because in single player, everyone, you, are Farm ID 1. But in multiplayer, depending on what farm you are, could be a different farm ID number. Overall, have fun exploring the map. And I tell you what, I know we're going to have fun exploring this map during this video. It's going to be a long one too, because we enjoyed this map in my Discord in 19 on a multiplayer server. I can definitely see others wanting to join on a server with the 22 version as well. Now, in addition to the mods, we typically use when we take a look at maps, which is additional field info, additional game settings, animal food overview, field lease, field calculator, and precision farming. The required mods include the BR small shed, bale and vehicle shelter, big yellow houses, bunker silo set, enhanced animal system, European decorative building pack, the GDR building package, garage 40 by 10, greenhouse modular, the half timbered farm buildings. Then we have the old chicken coop, the large old chicken coop, lizard multi-purpose sheds, more animal husbandries, salvage hauls package, and wind turbine package. All of those are required mods for this map to load up in both single player and multiplayer. Now, I will tell you, if you load this map up in farm manager mode or start from scratch, you will find everything is built out exactly how you're going to see it here in new farmer mode. In fact, you do own machinery in all play modes. The only difference is you do not own any land. And of course, your bank balances are higher in those alternate game modes. Now, this map does have quite a bit to load up, so it will take a little bit of time depending on your system to load into the map. And we will be seeing a few warnings pop up as the map loads up, starting vehicles and machinery. You will see that if you happen to have the guidance steering mod not activated in your game save, because a lot of the machinery that is available as starting machinery is pre-configured with guidance steering. When we load in for the very first time, we do start here at our farmhouse. And it is an enterable farmhouse. We'll be taking a look through that building here shortly. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA. Now, anyone that played this map in FS19, this PDA is extremely familiar. In fact, it looks nearly identical to what it did in FS19. This map does include all the standard crops available to us in FS22, as well as the new premium expansion crops. And you will see that we do have some nice custom crop icons also included. If we go ahead and take a look at our lands area, see we start out by owning farmland ID 4. That is the main starting farm. That is viable for nearly $800,000 and is 12 acres in size. In addition to that, we own farmland ID 55 as well as farmland ID 70. Now, there are multiple other farms on this map. In fact, we have a small sheep farm, possibly the idyllic sheep farm that was mentioned in the description here at farmland ID 5. It can be bought for $664,000. In addition, we have a horse and chicken farm here at farmland ID 10 that can be bought for $635,000. We have a cow farm at farmland ID 12 that can be bought for $2.8 million. We also then have a chicken and greenhouse farm at farmland ID 50. We have a cow pasture at farmland ID 54 that can be bought for $414,000. We have a pig farm that can be bought at farmland ID 44 for $584,000. We have a sheep farm, or not a sheep farm, a cow farm that can be purchased at farmland ID 36 that can be bought for $476,000. We also have another cow farm that can be bought at farmland ID 47 that can be bought for $2.4 million. Then lastly, we have a buildable plot that can be bought here at farmland ID 48 for $105,000. Let's go ahead and take a look at our farmland lease screen. The farmland lease screen shows all of the viable farmlands, how large those farmlands are, if those farmlands include any field or fields, what is included. Then lastly, how much is that farmland going to cost us? As I think we have seen from the viable farms and from the farmland lease screen, the land on this map is fairly expensive. Here we go. We have, farmland 74, 1 hectare in size, $64,000, but farmland 76, which is 0.43 hectares in size, is $1.2 million. So it does appear to depend on what is actually on the land as to how much it's going to cost. Take a look at our field calculator screen. It's going to show us all of the specific sizes of each particular field. Then we can go back and cross-reference that with the farmland lease screen, see how much any one field might cost to purchase. We're going to skip the soil map. It does have a custom soil map, but I do believe I'm going to need to buy all the land in order to show that. So I do want to come through some of these other areas first. We do have a custom crop growth schedule here on the map. And taking a look at our prices screen, we do indeed have the ability to sell all of our base game crops that are available to us in Farm Sim 22. In addition, we have the ability to sell our eggs, wool, and milk, as well as our silage, hay, straw, and grass. We also have the ability to sell all of the base game production items that are available to us in FS22 as well. In addition to that, we do have the ability to buy bulk lime, And we also have the ability to sell our stones. We do have organic milk as a new fill type on the map. With respect to the platinum expansion productions, we do have the ability to sell all of the platinum expansion production items as well, which is really, really nice to see. We then, in addition to the platinum, with the premium expansion, have the ability to sell those crops and productions. Now, with respect to separated manure and pumps and hoses, we do have the ability to get rid of our pumps and hoses milk. Sorry, our pumps and hoses separated manure. I'm trying to talk a little bit too quickly here. We do have goat milk available on this map as well. Taking a look at our starting fleet, we start out with a decent listing of starting machinery. All of it is new, none of it is leased, and is all fairly well maintained. We do not have any animals at the start. We do have contracts available on this map, and we do not own any of the 37 productions that are pre-placed on the map. We do not own any of those at the start. Then lastly, this map does not have any collectibles. Now that I've already bought the land and all the associated farms, let's go ahead and see how the custom soil map is being applied to these fields. We have a big swath of silty clay coming down through the kind of just north of center, northeast to southwest. We've got a lot of loamy sand, sandy loam, and loam to the northwest, as well as to the southeast. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting fleet. We start out with the John Deere 7810 medium tractor, as well as the 7R270 large tractor, and the John Deere T560 harvester. Paired up with that, we have the 625X grain header, as well as the 608C corn header for our harvester. We do have the Nardi N40BX harvester header as well, our header trailer. We have our 2017 pickup truck. We have a pair of Welger DK115 trailers. We have a Rebel, or the Rebel Classic 600T disc harrow, as well as the eSport Pro 6000 RC seeder, and the Lemken Azuret 9 planter and Solitar 23 fertilize hopper. We have the Dalbo Power Roll 1230 HD roller. We have the Trailed Commander 4500 Delta Force herbicide and liquid fertilizer sprayer. The Breedall K105 lime and solid fertilizer spreader. The Pneumatic Star 900 weeder. We have the Novacat A10 crossflow butterfly mowers and the Novacat 301 AM ED Pro front mower, the Fanex 904 tedder, as well as the Z2840H windrower, and the Faro 4010D forage wagon. We have the SB 1290 ID square baler, the AgriLiner PWO 24 bale trailer. For our tractors, we have a 643R front loader. And then for the front loader arms, we have a universal bucket, pallet fork, and a bale spike. And then we round it all out with a 900 kilogram front weight. Taking a look at our mods and DLCs, you can see that we do not have any custom vehicles or implements tied to the map itself, but part of the required mods is the modular greenhouse. And for that, we have greenhouse substrate and greenhouse seed pallets. Now let's take a quick look through our farmhouse, since it is in trouble. And this is a really, really cool farmhouse. I can tell you that you can sell a farmhouse, but I don't know why one would want to. And quite frankly, you really shouldn't sell a farmhouse because, well, I guess kind of realistically, if you sell the house, well, all of your belongings within the house remain. So it's kind of funny seeing multiple floors of furniture and such that's just kind of stuck after you sell the house. So just a little bit of a interesting fact. I really would not sell the farmhouse. And we have our sleep trigger in this bedroom. And let's see if we happen to have a wardrobe trigger behind the final door. Nope. Nope. Oh, someone's Someone's poster fell off the wall. And then our pickup truck is going to be around the corner at our garage. So there we have our entry-level pickup truck. And why don't we just change it around a little bit? Let's drive over to our starting farm, which really is kind of like a contractor yard, or an arable farm, large-scale arable farm. It's right around the corner. And here we are. Now, with respect to the farms being customizable, I'm gonna admit right now, I did not try to sell every building on every farm. I typically do try to do that, but I ran into an interesting issue with this map. On certain farms, when I sold certain buildings, my gameplay went a little crazy. In one case, I started getting a bunch of Lua errors, and it was as if I was just always running to the right. I wasn't touching anything. It was just permanently running to the right. I had to reload. I tried to sell various buildings here on this farm, and I got this building sold, but the back half of that building, right here, it didn't go away. So I was like, okay, maybe it was two different buildings, not one whole building. So I tried to sell this building, and it said it was sold, but it wasn't. And then I couldn't get out of the menu. Like, escape wouldn't let me out. I couldn't get out of trying to sell this particular building. So once again, I had to completely reload the game. At that point, I stopped trying to sell buildings. I'm going to give the map a quarter of a point with respect to the farms being customizable, because you can sell certain buildings. But honestly, if you do want to customize the farms, save, sell a building. If it's successful, save again, sell a building. If it's successful, save, sell a building, and just keep repeating that process. Because I can't vouch for which building is going to or isn't going to cause you a certain issue. We've got a nice jet flying up there, up in the skies. Nice little added detail. We've got some ducks floating here along the pond as well. Really nice details. Again, we're going to find details scattered throughout this map. I really enjoyed this map in FS19. And I wish I had the time to put into multiplayer on this map in FS22. But through the magic of editing, I have taken the description's advice. I have saved the game, exited, and reloaded the game after I've purchased all of these viable farms. That way we were sure to experience all of the wonderful things that are going to be available. As we saw, we have lots of machinery being stored in that shed there. We've got a gated entrance down here. We have a large industrial workshop building located right here. Within this building, we do have a maintenance trigger. Now, we don't have indicators as to where that trigger is located. It is going to be right here, a little bit outside the gate and inside the door. Lots of really cool details in these buildings as well. I said a lot of time, a lot of effort has gone into the production of this type of a map. Here we have a hay loft. So we have our dump point and fill point in order to store our hay and straw. Then we have our farm silo, we have our fill point, and we have our dump point for a very large industrial silo. Couple dump locations for root crops or grain, because we know in Europe not all crops are stored in silos. Some things are just dumped on the ground. And then this particular farm does have one of the 4 biogas plants. Now, we do not own the biogas plant at the start. We will need to purchase that. We can purchase this biogas plant for $500,000. Let's go ahead and check out our production menu. And since we did go ahead and buy all the other farms, you can see we have a ton of things here. This is the BGA that we just bought, BGA Kandelin, and it is going to be a pretty standard biogas plant, accepting slurry, silage, manure, and sugar beet cut, and outputting methane and digestate, as well as energy. Now, let's go and have a further deep dive into all of the other production that is available on this map. Now, there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of things that I don't fully understand. I think a lot of these is a result of the greenhouse, the modular greenhouse mod. That is a requirement. I really did not look at that mod when it came out over at the Giants Mod Hub, but I do think there's a lot of aspects that I'm not totally sure of that are a part of that. In fact, we have a combined thermal power station that's going to take wood chips and straw and output electric charge and hot air. You could say that I output a lot of hot air, because this video is going to be quite a long video. Then we have several greenhouse modules. That is again available over at the Chicken and Greenhouse Farm, Farmland ID 50. It is going to be able to make tomatoes, lettuce, and strawberries using one of 2 different methods, either accepting water, greenhouse substrate, seed, and solid fertilizer, or greenhouse substrate, nutrient water, hot air, and seed. Okay, so we have several greenhouse modules, again, available down at the farm at Farmland ID 50. Just kind of skip through those. We have a fertilizer blending area, so we're going to be able to make nutrient water from there. We have solid fertilizer and GH, or greenhouse water distributable, and liquid fertilizer, and that's going to make nutrient water. We have a groundwater pump, which is going to take diesel and electric and make water or greenhouse distributable water. We have a substrate storage, which is simply going to store our greenhouse substrate. We have a thermal generator, which is going to take methane and produce hot air. We have the Kandelin BGA, which we just took a look at. Then we have the BGA Agrar Kandelin, which again is going to be a fairly standard BGA. With the BGA Agrar Bizdorf and the BGA Pig Farm. Those are the 4 biogas plants that are pre-placed on the map. We have a bakery that's going to make bread or cakes. We also have the confectionery, which is going to make bread either using organic milk or water. And then we also have the ability to make cakes at that one as well. Carpentry shop for furniture and wood chips using wood and planks. We have our cereal factory making fairly standard FS22 cereal. Our dairy is either going to make butter with regular milk or organic milk. Then we also have the ability to make regular cheese with regular milk and regular milk with butter, or regular chocolate with regular milk and cheese. We have our oil plant, grape processing facility, and Taylor. We have our sugar mill, fairly standard there, fairly standard spinnery, grain mill as well. We have our sawmill, and it is going to take wood and make planks, wood chips, long planks, wood beams, and prefab walls. That again is if you have the platinum expansion enabled. We have our Taylor, and then lastly we have the lime and sugar beet production, and that is going to take water and sugar beet and produce lime, or water and sugar beet and produce sugar beet cut. Then we do have a large three-sided silage bunker here at the BGA, again at that industrial contractor farm. Now let's get a little altitude and really start looking around this map. You are going to find that there are fields where we have high tension power towers running through those. Those fields do have collisions on those towers. In addition, you're going to find fields where we have the wind turbines. Those wind turbines also do have collisions on them. Those wind turbines are buyable and sellable as well. So here we have the starting industrial farm, contractor yard, whatever you really want to call this. We have our farmhouse, which is right here around the corner. We're on the other side of the church. That's right there with the open front door. And then we have a whole lot of sell points and production points here in Kandelin, a little town area that the map is named after. And as you can see, there are a couple other kind of villages or towns also on this map. Jumping back up here to the PDA. You see here in town, we have a restaurant sell point, Aunt Emma's Delicatessen. We have then also the butcher, the senior center for the old siding. We have a Kandelin ice parlor, as well as a school and the grain economy. We have the clothing facility, construction site, and we have a gas station. And then for production, we have the confectionery also here as well. Now, just behind the fuel point is an area that had a pre-built farm in the FS19 version of this map, but in the FS22 version, it is simply a buildable area, and that is at Farmland ID 48. The description mentioned multiple solar sites. This is one of those solar sites that are available for purchase. You will find those scattered around the map, right next to a football field. Here we have one of the large dairy operations. Then the smaller dairy operation or cattle operation is just here across this field. We're going to get to all of these other farms during our drive around portion of the video. So you see some of these high power towers that again are crossing the map. They do have collisions. And then here we have those wind turbines. These wind turbines are on buyable land. And if you do own the land, you can sell the turbine should you so wish. Now, just to make things a little bit quicker, I have gone in and enabled some fast speed in EasyDev controls. One thing that I really like about this version of the map is they have added the iron ore facility from the Platinum expansion up here in this forest. Right, so if you are going to be doing any sort of Platinum expansion production that is going to require the iron ore, well, you have to come up here to this mine and go ahead and collect it. We do have a couple pieces of machinery here that are available for our use to load and transport that ore around the mine as well. Here we have our sugar mill, our dairy, another one of those solar yards. Our sawmill is located down here south of Field 54. Now let's make our way over to the second village. So here we have a slurry buy point. We have a pig farm with biogas plant. And there are several sell points and production points here within that town. Here we are. So we have the pig farm. Then we have a supermarket. We have the carpentry, grape processing, the oil mill, biomass heating plant, the tailor, pizzeria. We have lime and sugar beet production. We have a root crop sell point. We have another ice cream parlor. We have stone sale, as well as liquid manure sale, and then liquid manure buy point. And then we have the cow pasture that is located right here. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about that particular cow pasture. Here, now that we've owned all the farms, you can see that we do have animals in all of those farms. And you'll notice that these cow areas, right, they produce milk. This cow area also produces milk. And then we have milk at that cow area as well. Now, this cow pasture actually produces organic milk. So remember in the production where I talked about you can either make things with milk or organic milk. You're only going to get organic milk from the cow pasture, the open cow pasture that is located right here at Farmland ID 54. Over here to the east of Field 16, which is directly below us, we have another little village where we have a animal dealer and a couple buy points and production points, including our flour mill. Directly north of that, right by Field 13, we have the very, very large greenhouse set up. And again, this is using that modular greenhouse mod that I am not super overly familiar with. This is also going to be a chicken farm. And then across the street from that, we have a large cattle operation that includes another one of the biogas plants. We have a sell point below, and right across the street from that, we have the chicken and horse farm. Then we're coming up to the small sheep farm. I believe I ran this farm when I was playing on this map in FS19. So you have the sheep farm here. And then right down the lane from the sheep farm, we have our animal dealer. Just take a look across the map. This is an absolute beautiful map. And if you have an opportunity to play on this map, I do strongly suggest giving it a try. Let's go ahead and pick up our Mahindra. A very large area for our vehicles to spawn in at on this particular map. And within this shed here, this is where we're going to find our dealer maintenance trigger. Back here in the back. Now this trigger area is once again not clearly defined, but it is going to include the vast majority of inside of the shed and a little bit outside the shed door as well. There you can see that boundary of the trigger right there. Let's get on with what will ultimately be the longest portion of this map tour, which is the drive around. And during this point, we're going to hit all of the farms, check them all out as far as where things are and what is going on at those farms, and then try to run around and also tag all the production and all of the sell points. Let's go ahead and start with the idyllic sheep farm. And maybe we'll do a little in-cab driving as we drive up the lane. Now, as I mentioned, this map includes 37 productions that are built in. We're going to run through those productions as we leave the sheep farm. Let's go ahead and pull in here. Across the street from the sheep farm. We have bale and pallet storage. Okay, so we can hold 250 bales or pallets within this facility. So we have our dump point for that, and then we have our spawn point where our pallets and such are going to come out at. Here we have our farm silo for the sheep farm. So we have our dump point and our fill pipe. We do have a silage bunker here at the sheep farm area. The sheep pasture kind of extends around the back of the farm. Nice little hilly area. We are getting manure with our sheeps. Our little sheepies. We have our sheep drop-off point. 500 sheep are available in this particular facility. We start out with 35. And then we have our food trough inside of here. And then lots of storage is going to be available. This is going to be for liquid fertilizer. We have a maintenance trigger here as well. Sadly, once again, that is not clearly defined, but it is going to be the area within this building. We have the water trough for our sheep located over here. Let's go ahead and take a look at our animal food requirements. So our cows, we've got total mixed rations, hay and grass. Sheep, grass and hay, fairly standard there. Pigs are all fairly standard. Horses as well, and chickens. So no custom crazy food requirements for our animals on this map. Now let's talk about the productions. We've got 37. We have the thermal power station. We have 14 different greenhouse modules. And each of those I am counting as a unique production. We have the fertilizer blending station. That's where we're going to make that enriched water. Groundwater pumping station. Substrate storage. Thermal generator where we make a whole heap load of hot air. We have 4 BGAs scattered around at 4 different farms. We have the confectionery, we have carpentry, cereal mill, we have a dairy, we have an oil mill, grape processing center, we have a tailor, we have a sugar factory, spinnery, grain mill, sawmill, we have another tailor, so we have 2 tailors, lime and sugar beet production. And then lots and tons of details. I'm looking for a little side road here, is what I'm looking for. There we go. This is going to take us around to the back of the cow and chicken farm. So with respect to scoring, we're going to be giving the map a full point with respect to production being built in or areas set aside for such, because, well, with 37 unique productions, production is definitely built into the map. With respect to being able to sell all of our base game crops, animal outputs, and production points, we are once again giving the map a full point there as well, because we can sell all of our base game crops, we can sell all of our animal outputs, we can sell all of our base game productions. On top of that, as an added bonus, we do have the ability to sell all of the platinum expansion productions, as well as the premium expansion production and root crops. So we took a little bit of a shortcut, coming in just below the horse and chicken farm. Before we get over to that, this is going to be some sell point locations. I believe up here we have the ability to sell bales and such. So we have a bale sell, and then we also have a grain sell point. The grain sell point is going to be within this shed. And there you go. So there's a dump point for that. Now let's loop back up here to the horse and chicken area. Now, while we have some pretty big fields on this 4X map, the roads are not the largest, so you will need to be a little cautious when driving down these roads with large machinery. So we have our output pipe for a silo here. Means we're going to have our dump point for our silo located right there. This is going to be liquid fertilizer storage. Liquid fertilizer and herbicide purchasing. Okay. Then we have our horse area, one of our 2 horse areas. This one's going to hold 16 horses, and we have 5 of them already. I did go through this map earlier, but I have to tell you, with everything that's going on, there's no way I'm going to remember everything from my pre-walk around to this point. We have our dump point for our food, and then we have then our pickup point here for our manure. We have a sleep trigger over here at this farmhouse. Then we have another little horse area here. It's going to hold 4 horses, of which we have 2. We have our food trough and our water trough. And then a nice exercise area. Then we have our chicken coop. 100 total chickens. We do have enhanced animals built into the map. So we have our little chicks, as well as our chickens, ducks, and ducklings. We have our food. We have our wardrobe trigger. I gotta be careful because I still have fast run enabled, but there we have our spawn point for our eggs. Now we'll make our way down to the next farm. It should be a cow farm at farmland ID 12. Let's see, we've got really just Super awesome details. Again, like we've got a bench there. We've got a little boat. This little pond. Ducks. It's just, if anything, download the map. Spend a few hours just driving around. Tooling around the forest. If you see a little road cutting back into the forest, take a walk back there. Take a ride back there. See what types of details the map author has squirreled away, right? For those who are willing to explore, those are the little extra nuggets, right? That really go to take a map from nice to exceptional. Here we are. Here's one of our player farms. This one does have a biogas plant also provided. So we have the BGA. This BGA can be purchased. I've already gone ahead and purchased that, but you will need to buy that in addition to buying the land. We have multiple silage bunkers here. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. We have our workshop. Once again, we are lacking indicators, but that is that whole facility right there. We have another workshop. So multiple workshops here. Got this little road coming in around the back, looping up into that forest again, like I mentioned, and I love fields like this. Absolutely love fields like this that are hidden away. Hidden away. Back when I was growing up, we had a farm, and there would be field areas like that. They were kind of squirreled away. You drove back through some forest, through some wooded areas, and then boom, it just opens up. You've got a field. You're back there. You're working that field. You're just off in your own world, thinking about your own things, just daydreaming, right? All the stresses, all the problems of the day, just gone because it's just you. That's all you can see. Forest all around you, field, you, tractor. It's bliss. Total bliss. So here we have another hayloft, dump and fill point. It's going to be our farm silo. Dump and fill point, and we will likely need an auger for this one. Liquid fertilizer and herbicide. We have a fuel storage tank, had 500 liters of tank of fuel in there. And we have a large manure heap because, well, we're going to have a very, very large cow area here. Encompasses this whole area. $500 cows in this facility. Again, we have enhanced animals. So we have calves, heifers, bulls of various breeds. Inside, we have our food and straw triggers. We have our slurry point. We have our milk pickup point there. And that is, well, that is this farm. Now, right across the street, we then have the chicken and garden center, if you will. Once again, we have another workshop trigger. Then we have the just insane amount of triggers and everything for the garden area. If you're not familiar with the modular garden, I would suggest taking a look and trying to find a video of someone that walks you through this because there's a whole lot going on, right? We have the fertilizer blending station. We have the groundwater pumping station. We have substrate storage. We have all of these different greenhouse modules. We have the combined thermal power station, right? We also have, what else was making hot air? Thermal generator also produces hot air. All of those are all right here. Right, so there's our fertilizer blending. Our groundwater pumping station. Substrate storage. I don't think there's a way to make substrate. I think you have to buy it. Then inside all of these bays, we have all of the different greenhouse modules themselves. Right, so this is going to be greenhouse module 16, or one of greenhouse module 16. Then each of these modules has its own pallet spawn point and individual dump points for all of its products. So one could do a very large industrial scale greenhouse operation and likely keep themselves busy for a very, very long time. Here we have our large scale chicken coop. We're going to hold 2,000 chickens in this facility. We have 31 at the start. So we can raise and lower the food trough. That's pretty cool. Let's see. No food for you. You eat too much. Here we have our thermal generator. Our dump point. And then we have the combined thermal power station right next to it. It's going to be for storing grains, root crops, whatever you want. Really cool setup. That area changed quite a bit from the FS19 version. Let's continue to make our way kind of clockwise around the map. Next stop, we have a little village. The distant scenery on this map is done very well as well. So, coming into here, we're going to have a whole lot of things going on. First off, we have an ice cream parlor right there. There's our ice cream parlor with its sell point. We then have production. We have Stern back. That is going to be one of our bakeries, I believe. We have a tailor shop. We have our spinnery. We have a grain mill, cereal factory. We have fuel point. Then we have a grain sell point. Then we have multiple sell points down here at our animal dealer. So here we have the Stern back. Again, I believe that is going to be one of the bakeries. Bread and cake is what they make. Yep. Dump point, pallet spawn point around the back, interactive point there at the door. We have our cereal factory. Fuel point. grain sell points. Some more sell points for various goods and services. And then a road that's going to take you up and around field 50, up by the map's edge. Now, we really haven't looked at build mode. That is because with all of the required mods that this map has, there's going to be a whole lot of custom things. It's kind of just going to be a known quantity there. Here we have our spinnery. We have our flour mill right next to our animal dealer. And over at our animal dealer, we have a lot of buy and sell points. So we have our animal dealer itself right there. And then as far as sell points go, we have a bale sell point. We have a feed purchase point. And we have a manure buy point. This should be the manure buy point right here. Then we have our bale sell point there. And then we have another unload point here to sell products. And right next door we have our spinnery. Look at that. Like I said, there's just details all over the place. Little garden down there. Look at this. This is a clothing store with a wardrobe trigger. Let's head on out of town. And we'll wind our way over to the next village. That's where we're going to find the dairy pasture that does organic milk. So we have that facility right here. $200 cattle in this organic milk open pasture. We have our food trough. And then we have our milk trigger right here. Well, it's not marked other than these milk cans. It would be nice to see a little floaty icon there. Like this road, we got patches going on, right? Clearly the road's not been repaved for a while. We've got, graffiti on some walls over there. It's just lots of these little details really help sell the story. We have another ice cream parlor sell point there. In fact, what we do have here, we have our ice cream parlor, we have our pizzeria, we have a root crop sell point, lime and sugar beet production, stone sale point, liquid manure sell point. Here we have liquid manure buy point, tailor shop, biomass heating plant sell point, oil mill, grape processing and carpentry productions, Crims and Crams supermarket. I kind of like that name. Then here we have the pig farm. Right, our pizzeria. Our tailor. Oh my, we got a car accident going on here. Biomass heating plant. Right, grape processing. We're in the back end of our oil mill. Just things are just crammed really tight here into these towns. Every little square bit of space. And this road is going to be taking us up and over into our pig operation. All right, so we have our manure heap here for our pigs. Got a lot going on here. So we have our liquid fertilizer, herbicide, buy point that we have at all the other farms. Inside we have a workshop trigger. There we go. Once again, not fully marked, but trigger is inside of there. Looks like it comes outside the building also a bit. Large pigsty operation. These buildings appear to be interconnected. So we have our dump point for our food. We have our pig buy point. 200 pigs in this area. Again, we have piglets, porkers, sows, boars, all of that with enhanced animals. Then we have, what do we have here? Slurry point. Slurry points. Our hayloft. And we have then another BGA. This is the third BGA that we have seen. It is associated with or at a various farm. But again, you will have to buy the BGA separate of the farms themselves. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 silage bunkers here also. Now, let's make our way over to the sawmill. There we have our stone saw point. And our liquid manure buy point is in there. Then we have a liquid manure sell point right behind it. I don't know if you could tell just from what we've seen so far in this video is why I really like this map in FS19. And I really wish I had the time and opportunity to put into playing this map once again in FS22. But it's clear a whole lot of effort has gone into this particular map. There we have another one of those solar yards. I feel like I've completely missed the road I needed. Down here we have our dairy and our sugar mill. So we have our dairy. Interactive icon around the front. We have our sugar mill. Up here all by itself. And I want to see, will this road bring me around to the sawmill before I go to the effort of trying to get over here? No, it will not. It just dumps me a long way around to get to this field. Here we have the sawmill. And remember, the sawmill is going to produce also some platinum expansion products. Wood cell trigger, we have our log dump trigger. The pallet spawn points all around for the various products. We have our wood chip pickup point. And our interactive icon. And then over here we have a sell point, possibly for containerized wood, given the fact that we do have containers here. So let's see, the right way to take would have been to take this road. Which goes all the way. Yeah, I completely missed this road. Dumps out right there. Then that is the liquid manure buy point. That is the liquid manure sell point. Then there's the town, there's the pig area. So that's the road off to the sawmill. This is the road we took that eventually led us down here to the dairy and the sugar mill. Just a few more farms to look at and a whole big town. We really didn't cover too much of the Kandelin town itself. That's where we're going to end up this video. Like I said, it's going to be a long one because there is so much going on this map. 4X maps often take a lot longer than standard size maps. No surprise there, they're 4 times larger. And if the map, in my opinion, is done well, then you are utilizing a lot of the map, and therefore there's a whole lot of driving around to do. I am hoping that this gets me somewhat close to these other farms. It ends up not being a dead-end road. So with respect to buildings where appropriate are using the new texturing technique, I'm going to give the map a full point there. We are seeing a fair bit of these wind turbines coming down through this road. Remember, these turbines are on viable land, and if you do own the land that these turbines are located on, you will be able to let's turn around. You will be able to sell the turbine. Glancing at the PDA, I think this road does come around field 24, which is this large field to our right. And we'll be able to then make our way up to the cow farm that is kind of embedded within field 24. I think For me, if this map had smaller fields, right? We do have some small fields on this map, but there are some just absolutely massive fields as well. If we had more smaller fields, I think it really would go a long way to making this map far more attractive for me to play on. I would play on it now, right? But a lot of these fields are extremely large. I mean, we have a 4x map with 48 fields. We've had standard size maps with far more fields than 48 from Giants alone, let alone from other folks. So it'd have been nice to have seen maybe this map with maybe double to triple the number of fields, which of course would have meant that a lot of these larger fields would have had to have been smaller. But if they were made in such a way that you could combine the fields. But I also know and respect that this map was made to emulate a real life area, and very likely if you found this area with Google Earth, you could probably scale this down and it'll be pretty accurate with respect to the road and field layouts. Here we have another cattle farm. All right, so we have our liquid fertilizer and herbicide buy point. We have our our maintenance trigger there. 2 pull-through silage bunkers. Here we have our farm silo. So we have our fill pipe and our dump point. Some nice storage. Here we have our food trough for these cows. $150 total cows in here. We start out with 18. This is going to be our milk trigger. Here we have our slurry trigger. We have a hayloft. And then we have our manure point over here for this operation. One more farm directly in front of us with BGA. It's an interesting area. Kind of a pull off. You could probably stage silage bales there. Or other bales. Now we're finally making our way back to regular roads. Traffic moving at a pretty good clip on these roads. Yeah. Let's take this. This is the back road in to this farm. Right, another cool little area like for stacking bales and such. Got our cow operation going on here. We have liquid manure storage. $500 cows in this facility. We have 2 large pull-through silage bunkers. Lots of machinery storage going on here. We have our workshop trigger. A farmhouse sleep trigger. Our milk point for our cows. A BGA down here. And then we have a couple more pull-through silage bunkers, 5 in total. Then we have the hay loft right there for storing grass and hay and such. We have our silo, dump and fill point. Let's just take a real quick shortcut into the main town area. That's where we're going to end it all out. Over here to the left used to be in FS19, another kind of contractor yard. That is now set up as a buildable yard. Then here at the main namesake village, we're going to find fuel. We have clothing sell point, construction site, grain sell point. We have a school sell point, ice parlor, ice cream parlor, senior center, butcher, delicatessen, a restaurant. We have our farmhouse once again, and then our confectionery. That is basically it. So our final scoring metric with respect to trigger and interactive areas clearly marked, we're going to go with a 0.5. Every single farm, every single dealer, maintenance trigger at the farm shop and everything, they're not marked as to where those triggers actually are. We got the blue floating icon, but we don't know where we need to position our machinery. And it would be nice to have seen that. So we are going to give the map a half a point there. And that is then basically going to give this map a score of 3.75 out of 5. She's a looker. I like this map. I like it a lot. But we just have 9 maintenance triggers that are not clearly defined. Put a little arrow markers in there. Boom, you're done. You bump this map up to a 4.25. But right now, I'm going to go with 3.75. If you don't care that these things are marked, that's fine, right? That's fine. Here we have the delicatessen production. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below with respect to this map, the score, and what do you think? Are you going to maybe play this in single player? How about playing it in multiplayer? We have our construction site. And until next time, happy farming.